Greetings and blessings to each and every one of you. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the humbleness, the honor, and the blessings of the infinite Creator. Now, this topic for discussion is an important one, but and I want to make sure that anybody who watches this video, that you please, if you think I'm talking about you, well, understand that you have to do your own internal work. I've had conversations with a lot of people, and there may be some folks who think, well, he's talking about me. I'm talking about people in general. So if you take this personally, please don't. But it's very important because there are people who are frustrated past oblivion in so many ways, in my opinion, in that they are expecting spiritual growth, they're expecting these spiritual things. And I think that's part of the issue. They are expecting things. And it's really important because if you expect something, then that means you have an idea of what you think it should be. And one of the things I've learned about spiritualism is that if you expect something, something's going to happen, but you don't know what. And so people they get frustrated because they think, well, I should understand this better, or this should make more sense to me, or something like that. And they get frustrated. And then the frustration turns into anger. And the anger the frustration does too. But when the frustration turns into anger about, well, how come I can't contact ET, or how come I can't hear my spirit guide, or how come, and I've had a lot of people, ask me these things, especially here in the last 2 months or so. And I've just kind of pondered on it, to kind of let it cogitate, for so to speak. Oops, somebody's in the chat. Let me see. I got to put my Dominic, I think. Dominic, hi. Expectations lead to disappointment. Absolutely. And that's kind of sort of where part of this is leading to. I know that there have been many times in my own life when I had to be brutally honest with myself. And that's something that I've noticed, and a lot of my friends and people that I have physically visited within the last 3 weeks. And when we talk about things, and I go, well, how are you doing with this, Dave? Or Hawkeye, how come this? Or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you have to say no. And people are fumbling with all different kinds of addictions, sugar addictions, chocolate addiction. Well, how can you be too addicted to chocolate? I got to ask. But the thing is they are addicted. They're addicted to sweets. They're addicted to cigarettes. They're addicted to all different kinds of things. And, and then, I have family members who are, have been on heroin and different things, and they're currently on methadone treatment and so forth. And so, I speak about this and addiction and thing because of my own addiction, because of family members with addictions. So if somebody says, well, he's talking about me. Well, if it fits your personality, then maybe you should look at it. But I'm speaking about the folks that I know personally, that I've met, shook hands with, etc. Anyway, with that said, addiction. People say, well, I just don't know how you dealt with your addiction. I didn't. I fought it. I wanted to be addicted. I wanted these things. I wanted to be an alcoholic. I wanted to drink every day. I wanted cocaine. I wanted this. I wanted that. And I realized that if I'm going to be a spiritual being, at some point in my own honesty, in my own work inside, I have to say no. And so where did you get the strength? Well, I say I'm stronger now, but I was a weak pansy ass, and I'm like, so I asked my spirit guide, I need help with this addiction. My intent is I wish to get rid of it. Will you help me? Will you give me the strength? And my spirit guide says, yeah, if you'll listen to me, if you'll pay attention, if you'll just say no to your addiction. Now, I was on some serious medications, phenobarbital to be exact in my particular situation, and I was taking it for as an anti-seizural type of medication. And when they took me off of it, they yanked the rug out from underneath me, and I went through withdrawals. And they said, "Oh, a couple of days, you'll be fine." It took me 3, 4 months before I quit drooling and shaking and getting off of 12 or 13 years of being on phenobarbital legally and through a doctor's prescription. But events that went around at that particular time in my life, um, I had to basically come off cold turkey. So if somebody says, "Well, you don't know what it's like to be addicted." Well, yes, I do. And it is not fun to try to come off of it. But the thing is that now they yanked the rug out from underneath me and made me go cold turkey. That was but in hindsight, I surely wish that I had been able to, drop my own levels and done it, you know, uh, more medically sound, if you will, rather than just one day I'm taking it, the next I'm not. That was so stupid on so many doctors' parts. I ought to sue their ass. But anyway, when folks say, "Well, what did you do for about your addictions?" I prayed. I meditated. I said, "How bad do you want out of this?" I want out. "How bad do you want to give up drinking?" I want out. I'm tired of waking up places I don't even know how I got there. I'm tired of having headaches and hangovers and broke because I was drinking and spent too much money because I was out of my brain. And people say, "Well, I don't know what my addiction is, but I just can't stop doing blah, blah, blah." Well, have you tried? Well, it's so hard. Well, have you tried to cut down? Well, I don't know. I just don't have the strength. And it's so easy for people to be frustrated with themselves to the point where it angers them. And then they give up on themselves. I've been through this, so I know what I'm talking about in that respect. So I say this with all honesty, and please, my prayers for you, if you have any kind of addiction, any addiction, whether it be sugar, soft drinks, what you have to do is make up your mind to just say no, please, to yourself. And it's like, "What? I'm giving up something that my body craves." Oh, you betcha. But you want to replace it with something else. The short term is it ain't going to happen. You're going to have to come out of whatever the addiction is and kind of get your energies settled out. So people who think, "Well, I'm going to give up smoking for a week and I'm going to see the benefits immediately." No, you're not. It's going to take you a couple months. And you're going to realize then, "Oh my God, when I get around certain people who smoke a cigar or pipe or something, I really can't stand the smell of tobacco. I can't stand the smell of beer breath after somebody's had 3 or 4. I mean, I'm like, pfft. And I used to smell like that. It used to be me." So you realize it after the fact. But if it's being frustrated to you, understand this: your frustration leads to anger. And the two of those things right there will lower your vibration such that any spiritual progress you may have made will get just downgraded, because you're going to be playing this, "Well, I'm being a spiritual individual, but I'm going to get pissed off, angry, and now," and so the balance of where you were higher in the spiritual self is now lowered, and you become angry and um, change that information to such that your energies are all over the place, and just you don't know where you're at. So you are trying to contact your spirit guide, your higher self. And what's happening is all this frustration. Now, again, I speak from experience on this. So it's not that I'm like trying to, do good or this and that. Been there, done that, and you got to move on. But the thing is my intent was, regardless of how bad my addiction was, alcohol, drugs, etc., I wanted to be free of those things. How bad do you want it? And you have to look inside yourself. Nobody else can give you the dang answer. It's not out there. Someone else can tell you, well, you should stop smoking cigarettes. Yeah, well, okay, and you light up another one. Or you think you're drinking too much there? Well, no, I only drink a 6-pack a day. But what? That's not being an alcoholic. Can you go a day without having a beer? Well, no. Why would I? That was how I was. Every day's a holiday was my motto. Every day's a holiday, regardless of whether you're working or not. Every day's a holiday. So that's an excuse for drinking, partying, getting high, whatever. And that's like, yeah, every day's a holiday now to me too. But I can have just as much fun, if not more, from not drinking and not being blasted out of my head on coke or some other kind of hallucinogenic or something. They have their time and place possibly, but I was an everyday alcoholic kind of thing and a drug addict. I can't say it any other way. But I realized, now this has been many years ago, so I've been working on this for a long time. And in some respects, some of the things, the non-drinking, the non-drugs, the things like that, it literally took years for the absolute benefit of these things to manifest themselves. So, but with my intent, I knew I said no to an addiction. That made me stronger. That gave me insight into my own self that, if I could say no to alcohol, maybe I could say no to the drugs. Maybe I could say no to this. Maybe I could say, maybe I can take control of my own life rather than let an addiction or some other thing control my life. And you got to do that internal work. And there are people that I know who I've known for many years, and they don't have the inner moral whatevertude to tell themselves no. Don't eat. You had 2 pieces of cake. You're 300 pounds. Your blood pressure's up. You're borderline diabetic, but you're going to go for a 3rd piece of cake because it tastes good. Do you know that you're killing yourself? Well, yeah, but it's really good. Yeah, but can you say no? You've already had some. It's not like you can't. We're not saying, well, I don't have any. No, but there is overindulgence that is an addiction in itself. And I used to weigh 250 pounds. I'm now about 170-ish. So I know what it's like to be overweight, way too overweight, eat too much. I was the one that went back for a 3rd piece, a pie or cake or whatever it was, after having 2 full plates of dinner. So I've been there too. I was an overeater for several years, and I got quite large. I mean, my face was puffed up. You couldn't even recognize me. And so if folks say, well, you haven't been through what I've been through, maybe I have. That's not the point, whether or not I've been through what you've been through. What's important is you look at your own life and you say, how bad do I want to get rid of this addiction? How bad do I want to take control of my own life? How much do I care about me and my spirituality? But I'm going to be frustrated at this because for whatever the reasons are, I don't feel like I'm getting the spiritual awareness I think I should be getting. Well, okay, let me stop right there and say, well, the expectations, and I think Dominique brought it up. Yep, expectations lead to disappointment. And that's absolutely part of this conversation. What do you expect out of higher spirituality? Well, I'm going to be, and I'm going to feel, and I'm going to, and yeah. Well, but you have all these other things that are blocking your view. You have all these negative energies that you're not dealing with in your own life and your own self. So the frustration and the anger is going to keep you from achieving any kind of inner peace because there is no inner peace. There's too much frustration. There's too much inner anger for whatever the reason. Somebody hollering at you, now like for me, for example, I was asked the question a couple of weeks ago, and I've been sick, so I haven't had the opportunity to have this conversation with y'all. But it's like I did a video about me being in a kayak in the middle of the lake in the middle of the night, and that I thought that I was spiritually aware until they showed me a whole nother level of spiritual awareness. And I realized that I was holding myself back. And I spoke about this, so for every level we think we are, there's another. What's with this another business today, Dave? But there's another level of spirituality. When you get to one point, you're going to look around you and go, oh, holy crap. And I will akin it to this, in that we are all candles. We are all lights of the eternal awareness and of the universe. We're, God sparks. Okay, so consider that, when we first learn about spiritual awareness, we're a candle about this tall. And that's just how big the candle is, but it gets lit. And it shines around. But the thing is that because the candle's short, the light only goes so far. It lights up the room and everything, but you can't necessarily see where you're at. In other words, a little candle sitting on my desk, and it's going to only light up so much. Now, but as you gain spiritual awareness, instead of your candle burning down, your candle gets longer. So that as the candle gets longer, and I'm not going to say taller, ascending, but it gets longer, in that as your awareness expands, you're higher off of the table with your candlelight. I know it's an odd, little trying to explain this, but it's like, you got a flashlight in the valley, and you can only see what's down here in the valley. But as you climb up the hill and use your flashlight, you can see down. Now, I hate to use the up and down kind of thing, but in a way, that's kind of sort of true, in that you can see around you better. It's not that you're higher or have ascended, but your awareness of things elevates you so that you can see below you. If you're standing on the ground versus standing on top of a 20-foot structure and looking down, you go, woo, different perspective. So when I was standing on the ground, I didn't notice that there was something a block away. So it's not the ascension thing. I want to make sure you all get that. But it is the awareness of being able to see more around you. That's the point that I'm trying to make about this. But if you're stuck on the internal work and you're expecting results from it, you got to go back to what's making you frustrated. Now, for me, that I was having trouble with my addictions. And so I was frustrated, which got me angry. And wow, I'm pissed off. I'll just go ahead and get drunk anyway. What the hell? And we can't do that. I mean, we just can't, if you want to achieve any kind of spiritual awareness. So any of these things that retard or hold back your energy, it's like having 4 radios on at the same time on different stations. One's country, one's gospel, one's, I don't know, jazz and something else. But the thing is, so the universe is trying to speak to you, but you've got 4 radios on with different stations, and you can't hear any of them. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's just a bunch of noise. It's a cacophony of chaos. In this cacophony of chaos, that's what involves us. So if we have internal frustrations and things, we need to look at them and deal with them. What's making me angry? Well, one of the things that pissed me off was, my family pretty much deserted me when I started preaching about this kind of stuff. He's gone. Uncle Dave's too crazy. We're not even going to go visit him anymore. Uncle Dave has jumped off the deep end. We're not even going to like his videos on Facebook anymore. We're not even going to say hi to him anymore. We're just going to ignore him, which is still going on, I might add. But the thing is that I had to say, I used to, oh my God, they won't answer me, or oh my God. And I realized that if I want to be a spiritual being, trying to get permission, or my family said, well, good job, Dave. It wasn't about that at all. It wasn't about a pat on the back, and never has been for me. It's been, can we sit down and have a conversation? Well, your conversation is too weird for me. You know, you know how that goes. And so there are a lot of us with family members, friends, etc., that look at us and go, they're nuts. They're not in my area of awareness. And we have to, we can't say, well, F you. We can't tell them to go, take a hike. But what we can do is say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And we have to understand that if these folks are stuck in their own paradigm, if we're trying to get any kind of, the words jumping around in my head, approval by our family and friends, we might as well forget it because we're wasting our own energy. I know I did, because that held me back from speaking from the heart, because I was like, but these other people, what are they going to think? What are they going to say? Blah, 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 blah. And it kept my own energy down. And I basically had to become a hermit. I mean, I kind of sort of already was, but the idea was I had to become a hermit in other ways, in that I had to understand that what my friends and family think of me has nothing to do with who I actually am. He's crazy. He talks out of line. He talks about the spiritual stuff and ET. Oh my God, he's nuts. Okay, maybe I am. All right, in their opinion at least. But there are so many of us that have reached this other reality. There's so much more other things out there that now that we can see and open up our eyes, open up our hearts, open up who we are, that we can see other levels of reality within this, our own 3D paradigm right now. Just Spitfire, I'll get to you in a minute. But you have to be brutally honest in your own dealings with your own self. If somebody's pissing you off because of their remarks, or you're looking for their adoration or affirmation, or maybe that's the word I was looking for, affirmation from someone else, you want your family to say, well, I may not agree with you, but okay. In my case, a lot of my family members just refuse to speak to me. And it's like, okie dokie. Did it hurt my feelings? Oh, you betcha. Do I wish that things were different? Because I love them deeply, but I'm a weirdo to them. So it's like, I can accept their weirdness, but they can't accept mine. You have to understand that if you're worried about other people's affirmations or approval rating, you're never going to reach your own spiritual awareness. You have to go inside and say, I love you all. I do. But I'm sorry, but your opinions don't matter for my spiritual well-being. And I know that's a toughie, but you have to also look at it, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Is what you're saying of positive and good intent? I didn't tell my friends and family to go suck an egg. I just said, oh, my feelings and wanting their approval in any way, shape, or form, I realized was beyond my means. And it was holding me back to be more spiritually advanced on my own, because I kept looking for their approval. You can't, if you're looking for somebody else's approval, then you haven't dealt with whatever the issues are within you. Now, I personally ain't even going to try to say, well, your problem could be this or that or blah, 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 blah. Ain't even going there. It's not my point. My point is that if something's frustrating you and then it makes you angry, then you need to stop whatever the hell you're doing and go, why is this making me mad? Well, blah, 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 blah. No, but why? Well, because, the pedophile and thing. Yeah. Is there anything you can do about it? Well, no, but it frustrates me. And then I get angry, and there goes your spirit level. There goes your inner working. So that you get caught up in that chaos. And so when you're trying to be of positive intent, you allow something to piss you off, and then you lose it. And then you go, well, wait a minute. I thought I was gaining in this spiritual realm, but now I'm frustrated because I thought I was getting better at this. You're still getting pissed off, though. I mean, I went through this myself. Boy, man, do you talk about arguments with self? But why is this pissing you off? Blah, 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 blah. And I had to go deep inside myself and go, oh, there's an underlying issue here of why certain things would piss me off. I mean, I've talked about the priest pedophile in me as a young man in the Catholic Church and so forth. And for years, I carried a grudge. For years, I carried guilt. And all of that because I didn't see the Catholic Church doing anything about it. It continued to, it kind of sort of still does. But, I had to pull myself out of this and go, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell folks about it. It happened to me personally, 4 different priests, 3 more than the 4th, but to the point, still touchy-feely, shouldn't have been allowed. But to the point, though, that am I frustrated anymore? No, because I had to step back from the issue and I realized it was sucking my energy out of me because I couldn't let go of it. I couldn't let go of my own anger, my frustration. Well, there's another priest. There goes the Vatican again, and you've heard me talk about the Vatican and Sister Helene and all that kind of thing. And so it's like all of these things are coming true now. These things that I was told in 1972 are coming true. They're filtering out, And so, so I had to take this step back and go, well, wait a minute. So, okay, what else is frustrating me? Well, these politics thing and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But am I going to stay pissed off about it all day long? No. Well, that right there, I don't agree with their point of view. Leave it at that. You can, but to jump in and, full tilt, let's argue and call somebody a libtard or a MAGA idiot or whatever it is. That's insanity. It is, because you're repeating something and you're still not having any effect. Did my getting pissed off and for years, 40 plus years about the priest, did it help any? No. But what it did was bring some other folks who had been pedophile out. And so they could speak and they could deal with their own issues. So what I wanted in the past was, I want to get them sons of bitches for what they did to me. Now I've changed it. They already did it to me. Is there someone else out there who's had a similar issue that I can speak about this that will help them deal with their own internal issues of what happened to them in the priesthood or, whatever. It's not just the Catholic. There's a lot of, pedo abuse in all kinds of areas. But to the point about that, though, you have to go inside and do your own internal work. And you got to be brutal with yourself and go, well, I'm pissed off and I have the right to be pissed off. Okay, you got the right to be pissed off, but let's ask this other question. But should you be pissed off? If you say, well, I've got the right to be angry, okie dokie, then that means you have the right to bring your own spiritual energy back down to where you thought you just took it. So yeah, it's your choice. You can go on your own emotional, spiritual roller coaster because you believe that it's your right to be pissed off when you want to be. But what good does it do? How long are you pissed off? 3 minutes? 5 minutes? If it goes beyond 10, your energy level just, it's like somebody just, took the air thingy out of a tire and your tire goes flat right away instead of a slow leak. Now, I still get pissed off at things. There are still things that frustrate me. But the thing is I do not let them consume me any longer. There is a distinct difference on how I view these things that used to just tick me off beyond repair. And I realized, oh my God, whatever is out there that is triggering these things within me is sucking this energy out of me left and right and leaving me an empty shell. That is not my intent as a person, especially in my older age. I wish to be spiritual. I wish to be a good person. I wish, well, I'm still a good person, but something comes across the internet and I get all flustered, pissed off, and angry, and then my vibration comes down. It happens to us all. It's the yin and yang of this. But if you can see, oh my God, that pisses me off every time, well, then stop getting pissed off about it. You got to have self-protection, and you have to be able to look at your own life and go, wait a minute, I still don't like petties. I still don't like these folks. I'm still, against that, but I use my own self-preservation and say, you know what? I'm going to speak about that, but I'm not going to be angry about it. I'm not going to, allow myself to be frustrated to the point where I send that energy out instead of a pure intent of, listen, here is the problems. How can we find solutions? Before, 2 years ago, for myself, all I could do was bitch and be pissed off. Now, when something pisses me off, I stop and go, okay, why is it pissing me off? Let me find out why it's making me mad, frustrated, angry, whatever, and let me spin this. Okay, this is what this does, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to now, how can I change that? So as soon as I feel something being frustrating to me, I ask my spirits, this frustrates me. Can you give me any information as to how we might turn this around? How we can change our intent? How we can speak about this in such a way that fewer people will become frustrated and angry and thus lower their own spiritual levels. That's my intent, you know. And there are so many people on so many levels. I mean, it's just not like you or that one over there. I mean, there are a lot of folks in all walks of life who are being frustrated to the point of anger, and then they can't understand why they're sick all the time, or why their stomach's upset, or why they don't understand something, or how come this isn't clear to me, because you got all this confusion within your own self. How can you understand the universe when you won't even go inside and do the internal work to say, well, listen, this guy said something and it pisses me off, and I'm still pissed off. Well, when was that? 2 years ago. Shouldn't you have moved past that? Shouldn't we have, dealt with those issues? Things that I've seen and watched and learned over the years. Sometimes you see somebody shows you something and you go, and they want you to see this right now. Do you see what I'm showing you? And I go, I guess. I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm paying attention, but for some reason it doesn't resonate with me right here. I see it, I'm listening, and I sit back and some people might criticize my going, well, in my 67 years, I've learned to just take a look at something. Well, somebody says this is true. Okay, tomorrow it might be false, but I'm going to take the information and I'm going to discern it for myself. And I'm going to ask my spirit guide, how much of this is true? Is any of this true? Or is all of it true? Or how does it resonate with me? But for me to come up with something to go, well, I don't agree with that person. Well, there may be something in there you need to understand. But our frustration, which leads to anger, which leads to cloudiness within our spiritual self. So I'd look at different folks and what they have to say about things and go, that's an interesting point of view. Then I look at what someone else might say, and I'm thinking about an interview I did a couple of weeks ago, and in it I was like, at the bottom line of it though, we were in a war of words, which I did a video about a couple of days ago, and it was a war of words in that we both were talking about the same things, but it was how we explained them that was the difference between us. Not the basic intent, not the basic love, not, all these other things were positive. And what the quote argument, if there was one, was in our semantics and how we talked about it. Well, this is an Anunnaki. This is, you know me. I don't like to use Anunnaki, this, blah, 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 because it's all about spiritualism. Shamans didn't say, well, they just talked about our ancestors. The ancestors did this. The sky beings taught us this. The other realms teach us this. When, if you take a peyote and you go on a dream walk, you learn these things in the dream world. You learn these things from the sky beings, whatever the sky beings are. But in the shaman realm of things, they understand that there are sky beings, whether they're ETs, spirits, God, angels, it doesn't matter. They understand there are beings in other realms, and they don't need computers or any of this other, because they've been teaching it for thousands, if not a million years, to the, all peoples. So People are still getting caught up with everyday things. And I know everyday things can piss you off and make you angry inside. But if you start to understand that these things are having a direct opposite effect than what you wish for and what your intent is, then maybe some folks will go, wait a minute, let me take a look inside and go, that maybe I am part of the problem. I know I was, because I was like, yeah, but I've got my own opinion. My opinion is what counts. Yeah, to yourself, and I can share it and go, well, this is my opinion. This is my thing. But if I present it as being an asshole, you're wrong. You don't understand what I understand. And I know I'm 67 years old and I've been studying as a shaman. If I came across like that, I'm like, delete me from you would delete me as being coming to the channel. And so it's like, for myself, I have to wait a minute now. Is that what I want to portray? No. Do we all get angry and frustrated? Absolutely, yes. It is a human instinct. It is what helps make us human. But it's how we deal with that energy. Do you wish it to consume you? Do you wish the frustration to make you angry? Or can you stop and say, you know what? This is frustrating me. Then stop right then and go, whoops, I just said it's frustrating me. Why is it frustrating? And you got to ask, well, because of, yeah, but should you really just spend the next 2 days being pissed off about this? I mean, I can't answer that, but people need to do their own internal work. And some of the folks that I have visited here recently are having these internal issues when I look at them and say, I love you, but you had this same issue 5 years ago. And the bottom line is the same thing. You're not saying no to your addiction, to the bad behavior, you keep getting sucked in. And then you get frustrated and angry, and then you repeat the cycle over again. And I ask them, please, for your own sake, go inside yourself and fix this. Well, what do? Say no to it. Just say no to the bad thoughts, the bad behavior, frustration. Okay, this is frustrating me. Okay, then just learn to stop right there and analyze it. Why? And there could be many different levels of why. But the thing is the bottom line is, but should it ruin your day? Well, yeah, pedos still frustrate me, but it doesn't ruin my day anymore. Where I used to just be angry for weeks on end, and I can't understand it. All it did was lower my own personal vibration. All it did was make me more angry and more frustrated, and I was an angry, frustrated person to begin with, because I couldn't understand what my mission was here, how I was supposed to discuss spiritualism. I was frustrated about all of these things. But 2-3 years ago, when I had that revelations, I'm going to say Mother Mary and Sister Helene, when they manifested themselves in my living room and said, listen, you have to have faith, Hawkeye. You have to not get caught up in this frustration. You got to see that there's more to this than being angry all the time. And so regardless of who did what to us and when, should we continue to drag, and I've talked about this in many videos way back, maybe even a year ago, back in the days when they picked cotton by hand, and I've known many people who pick cotton down here in the South by hand. You got a big old sack, and you've seen them, the old movies where you see the Negroes in the field and the big white sacks, and they're picking cotton. That's the way they did it. But the thing is that when you got to the end of the row, you dumped your bag out so that you had an empty bag to turn around and go back across the field. Now, the issue with life and with our feelings, frustrations, our inner demons, our inner problems, whatever, we have a tendency to not empty the bag when we get to the end of the row. And so what we end up doing is we got a half a sack full of cotton. Okay, just metaphorically speaking. So instead of dumping it out, you go, nah, I'm good. But by the time you drag out half a bag of cotton that you're filling up to get to the other end of the row, now you've got twice as many burdens, if you will, in your little sack you're dragging. So my point to this is, if any, I had to realize that wherever that point in time is, it could be right now, it could be tomorrow, it could be that, it could be in 2 hours. Is that, wait a minute, I've carried this burden. Am I going to continue dragging this heavy ass sack through the field in the middle of summertime when it's hot? Or am I going to empty it out and start the next row with an empty bag? So I can freely walk, I can move easier, it's not near as hard. You got to take that into consideration. And here's the point about this. The end of the row is as soon as you want to make it. And I've heard some people, well, I got to work on this. And so what you're doing then is you're telling me that you're actually 10 feet from the end of the row, metaphorically. But you thinking, yeah, well, maybe I shouldn't empty it. I'm just going to go ahead and drag it around this neck. They make up excuses to not dump their garbage, their burdens. And I say the end of the row is when you make it. If you say, this is it, this is the end of my row, I'm dumping out my burdens, boom, cheers, you've learned something. Doesn't mean that you have to forget them. It doesn't mean that you have to, oh, I'll never think about this again. No. What it means is you make the choice as to whether or not to let it frustrate you and make you angry in the future. And you can make that decision right now. I choose not to let this piss me off anymore, whatever that is. So if you think that, well, I got to continue walking through the field, hang on. In this idea of spirituality, creator and of the universe, you can skip and have the row picked and empty it. It's your choice. But if you choose to continue to drag that sack full of cotton or your burdens, then that's your individual choice. And then if you're going to sit and wonder, oh my God, I can't understand why my frequency or my vibration level, I can't understand, because you got too much baggage. You got too many internal things that you must work out. Because unless you deal with what's making you frustrated, which leads to anger and etc., then you're never going to reach it, because you're always going to find something to frustrate you. How can you advance if you're always frustrated? It isn't going to work. I don't care how hard you try, you must deal with the frustration, anger thingy. And it's a cacophony of things. It's not just, pedophilia or somebody, pissed me off 5 years ago and I'm still mad at him. Oh my God, grow up. And to become a more spiritual being, you got to grow up. And you have to be brutally honest with yourself. And if you don't, then all of the questions, all the readings, all the drugs and everything, until you deal with those internal issues. And I'm thinking of some folks of mine up in, that away. And, I continue to pray. And after knowing them, 20 years or so, I'm still talking to them about issues they're still having that's 20 years old. And they still refuse to do the internal work and drop their baggage. I keep praying. I'm still their friends. And, so that's the part of being oh man, I can't find a really good word or phrase to get into this. You have to internally for yourself, you have to be bigger than that. In other words, if somebody pisses you off, it's like, okay, you can stay mad at them. And there are people, it's like, well, didn't I just piss you off? And I go, yeah, kind of. but you didn't get really pissed off just then. Yeah, you didn't even holler at me. I know, but it pissed you off. Yeah. And then they're like, but you used to scream at me. Yeah, well, that was then and this is now. So, things people say to me can still bother me, but how it bothers me is my choice. That's the sun over there going down in the wrong window. Just saying. Yeah, the spotlight just came on over there, Boom, get hit by by it almost looks yellow orange today, but that's through the clouds. It is an interesting color, though. It's not quite blue today. But anyway, but to this inner workings. And I pray for all of you. I do. Doing the internal work is some of the hardest, nastiest stuff you can go through. I mean, there are people who have told me, you know what? I'd rather walk through a half a mile of briars and brambles than to have to do an hour's work of sure enough, brutally honest internal spiritual work. Oh my God, it's tough. Yes, it is. And sometimes it may leave you scarred and but the thing is that if you do it, you're going to come out on the other side. I mean, I've got scars where I've been bit and burned and all these kinds of things, and in a way it's sort of a badge of honor. So you get scratched up doing your own internal work. Wear those scratches with honor. I made it through, and I'm a better person on the other side. And here's the thing, that if you're expecting something, if you've never been there, then how can you expect what it is? Oh, well, but the fourth dimension is going to be like, and well, have you dealt with the 3 dimension yet? Have you understood these other realities? Oh, no, but that'll all work itself out. The fourth dimension, I'll have to, yeah, okay, but you're putting a lot of eggs in a basket. We're supposed to be doing internal work now. We're supposed to be cleaning ourselves, to use the Jesus Christ metaphor kind of thing. It was always, do what you do inside. You can have a lot of money and all this other kind of stuff, and you can give to other people but if your own house isn't in order, then it's not going to really do you a whole lot of good. You got to do that internal work. So it's tough, my friends. And if you know somebody that's going through it, give your support. If they ask you a question, try to help them out the best they can, but understand it's not your solution, it's theirs. They can listen to suggestions, observations like myself in this conversation here, which I hope it helps somebody out there. In that you got to go in with intent, but you got to be brutally honest. If you're faking the honesty and then you come out and go, well, but I tried that and that didn't freaking work. But then you didn't really try it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said it didn't work, and you wouldn't have used the word frickin', because you still have something you haven't dealt with. So it isn't about being better than someone else. It's about being the better you. And there are a lot of folks, well, but this and that. Quit comparing. Quit trying to get someone else's approval. Do your own work. Contact your own spirit guide. Stick with your own guardian angel. Ask them I always ask for support. Look, this is what my conversation was higher self. Hey guys, I'm having a rough day today. I need some help standing up. You help me stand up, I'll work it out. But I'm having a little trouble standing. And standing can be in here. It can be physically, I'm having trouble standing. Whatever it is, spiritually, I'm having a little trouble standing today, guys. Can you help me out? Just help me stand up. That's all. I'll do the work. I'll get it done. Now, it took me a long time to get to this point. But the thing is that we're asking for miracles. Well, no. Why don't you just ask for a simple thing like help? Just strength. Well, but I need help with this. Okay, then what do you need help with? If you need help, well, I need help with being brutally honest with myself. How about that? Oh, I need help. Listen, I know I got to understand these things. I know I got to do this internal work. Then give me strength to do it, to follow through. the prayer of give me strength works almost every time. I mean, there are little times when it's like I got to use my cane kind of thing to get through the day. But on a spiritual level, every time I've asked plainly, now in my head, there's a lot of stuff I got to do and this, but all I ask for is creator, guardian angel, spirit guide, help me, give me strength. That's all. So I can do the work that's necessary. Show me, help me out, make sure I don't go off the road and into the ditch, help to guide me in that. But I don't ask for specific things, just strength and guidance, like a bumper car kind of thing. It's like, whoop, boop. If you hit this lever over here, and you're going to tilt the table if you're playing pinball. But with that said, so many folks on so many levels that I know are having these primary issues within themselves. And each one, they're all similar because each of them are similar in that they have to say no to themselves. Well, no to the cigarettes, no to, I've got a family member who's like on oxygen, but will they give up cigarettes? No. Look, you need oxygen half of the day, but you're still smoking? Well, yeah, because if I'm going to die, I'm going to, if you put the things down, maybe you wouldn't die from lung cancer or, and if so, it will still make your life better, but will they give up smoking? Haven't so far, so it's like people are, family members of mine who, but I only drink a 6-pack and half a day. But can you get by with just 2 beers? Well, no, because when I want 2, I want 2 more. Well, yeah, I know. I've been there. So you can't control your own addiction. Well, I'm not addicted. Can you go a day without a beer? Well, who wants to? You know what I mean? So round and round and round and round. So I got family members, friends, and so forth. And I know there are folks out there who are having very similar problems. But you got to be able to be strong enough. And if you're not, then ask your spirit guide, please give me strength so that I may deal with that. It's a simple prayer. Give me strength. With your intent. I want to, and don't put a bunch. Here's another tip, if you will. If you're having different things to frustrate you, pick one item at a time. Well, but this frustrates me, and that one, and this one, and that one. Okay, pick one. Doesn't matter. But pick the one that pisses you off the most, that is consuming most of your energy. Pick the one that angers you the most and deal with that one. And then if something else, you may find that by dealing with the worst one, the other ones will kind of not necessarily drop away, but you'll look at them and go, oh, crap, I let that shit piss me off. That's what happened to me. I was like, oh, man, have I been going about this thing the wrong way, as far as watching things and as being a watchman and so forth. No, wait a minute. Yeah, observations, let's pass this conversation on. So let me check and see what y'all got to say in this. I'm going to try to keep this at an hour if possible. Pamela, I see you're in there. Ian, I think. Just Spitfire. I saw you sent me pictures. Just Spitfire says, can people in touch with their higher self or know of their spirit guides? Can people deal with them without professional help? I say yes. Now, that's a person who spent 20 some odd years in therapy. And there were some people, but what I got most out of life was find someone that I could just talk to, who didn't necessarily, well, you're wrong about that, or you're right about. I mean, it was just let me find someone that you can, I say chat with, but talk to on a personal level. Does it have to be a professional? No, but find somebody that you can speak above I don't know, some kind of intelligence quotient. I know a couple of the therapists that I had over the years didn't have enough sense that God gave a gnat. But they were my therapist, pushing meds and, well, what do you want to talk about today? Well, I'm trying to work this out. Can you give me suggestions? Well, you have to work it out for yourself, Dave. But so of all the 20 plus years of therapy, it ended up that I had to figure it out. I had to work it out myself. Suggestions, prayer, Bibles, books, self healing, all of it is a vehicle to look inside yourself. But the bottom line is you got to go in and do it yourself. But can you seek professional help? Yeah. But I gave up professional help quite a while ago when I found out they really wasn't there to professionally help me. They want to get their paycheck. Oh, come back next week, Mr. Dave. Come back. Let's take some more of your Medicare money. Just Spitfire says, not the guide, but deal with their own issues, like a holistic center, or can the spirit guides be enough? The spirit guides can be enough because they're accessing the quantum realm. They are accessing the I like a holistic center. Yeah. The holistic center is in the universe. That's the quantum. That's when I say my prayers at the end. Continue to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the universe. And when you connect through your spirit guide, because with all the therapy that I had over all of my own years, it was my spirit guide. But the thing is that I had to accept it myself. And the bottom line was the reason I wasn't accepting some things as true is because I'd been lying to myself. And I can't answer that question for anyone. But there seem to be a lot of people, but I'm trying to attain this thing. Yeah, but in your expectations, what are you trying to achieve? Well, what is it you think you're going to get? Well, I'm going to have spirituality and in a higher realm. Yeah, but you keep talking about these other things and all these other things. It's like you're repeating the same things over again, trying to get a different result. So some folks are driving themselves insane by going over the same topic over and over and over again, when maybe they should just calmly and listen, because they may already have the answer. But because they continually search, well, I don't know if this is what it's supposed to feel like. I did it, and I had to stop back and go, whoa, because Spirit told me, you're trying to expect something you don't even know what to expect. How can you understand higher spiritual realms when I'm expecting? But at the same point, it's like, but what is it that I expect? Well, I expect to be a higher spirit. Yeah, but what does that mean? Well, son of a bitch, I don't know, because I've not achieved a higher level, because I'm still caught up in the cacophony of chaos down here. I hadn't done my own internal work. So I couldn't understand what higher spirituality was because I was looking too damn hard. Had to be quiet and listen to the internal things. You can have all the information. You can read the Bible 100 times. You can read all these spiritual guides and stuff. But if you don't, I mean this with love and honesty now, if you don't shut up and listen to yourself, the guides may absolutely say, there's a part of this paragraph that fits you, and you're trying to make the whole book important, when actually it's only one sentence in this paragraph that actually means what you need. That I'm talking about myself. And so I have found answers in all kinds of books and things. And it wasn't the book that did me the good. It was a story within the story in a paragraph that added up to be 2 sentences. And I still think about it and go, my God, how profound was that? Isaac Asimov, Robert Heinlein, some of the earlier science fiction writers. Oh my God, some of the things they came up with. Not only the science fiction, but the quantum reality and things that other people I'm still yet to hear talk about, that Robert Heinlein talked about, and I think it was Podkane of Mars. But the idea, though, that I got some of these basic instincts of certain things in a sci-fi book that's non-religious, but it gave me insight to my own self and to the quantum, to the spiritual realm. So the answers are everywhere, but are we looking too hard? I know I was. How do you expect to be spiritually higher if you don't know what that is? If you've never been there? Oh, well, for example, say I don't know, say you want to go to the Grand Canyon and you get there and you go, well, it's a big ditch. And then you get there and you go, wow, that's not what I expected, either good or bad. But a lot of things that I've heard people say at some of these places I've been, oh my God, I never expected this. When I went to Mount Rushmore and climbed up and was there out in South Dakota, it was not what I expected. It was really, really, really cool in some ways. And then it was really, really too much of a tourist trap and weirdness. So there was really good stuff and really creepy well, I say creepy. Um, it was just too many people in a small area. And I was like, whoa. But so there was good and bad in my own personal self about seeing Mount Rushmore and the presidents carved in rock, and I'm like, yeah, no wonder the Indians are pissed. You took, the Black Hills and defaced them or faced them. But anyway, so is it a good thing? Well, it was really cool. It was a really good thing to see. I'll never forget what it looked like and the sensation I had there. But at the same time, I also realized all the tourists there and the bad parking, and there was that went along with it. So if I would have said I know what to expect when I get there, the answer was wrong. Well, my God, I didn't realize there's the parking area and the this and the thingy. At the other side of the coin, oh my God, it's more magnificent than I thought. So two levels, but both. I tried to say I know what I would feel like if I went and saw it personally. When I got there, totally different. So we expect something spiritually when maybe it's already here, but we've been too busy looking for it for the trees. Maybe it's already with us. Just a thought. Because basically, what we have to learn to be higher spiritual beings is to drop what we've learned in this society and go back to our core values and to who we actually are as spiritual beings. So, um, um, thank you. That's what I need to hear, I think, said Just Spitfire. I just now learned it's okay to feel these feelings. Living where I do, it was taboo. I've had to put a mental block on this type of thoughts for geographical reasons. So I'm unfortunately really good at blocking out good vibes. 40 years of letting my mind control me instead of me controlling my mind. Just Spitfire, I went through that same crap. Well, my my part of that was really crappy. And that's what I'm talking about dragging that bag of cotton down another damn row. Stop it. Empty the bag. You got baggage, deal with it. Look at it, but you got to be honest. And I realized that all of these emotions were controlling me and I wasn't controlling myself. And since then, I've realized, oh my God, the spirituality was already there. I was too caught up in real crap around me. Oh my God, this pissed me in. And so how can I be spiritual when all of that was what was carrying a load? You gotta, and here's the point. And one of the things, well, don't I have to go through something else to empty the bag? No, the answer is no. If you've had enough, dump out that crap on where now. If you if the master of house sees you emptying that cotton in the middle of the field, he's going to whoop your ass. But that's as far as this analogy goes with the cotton. But in spiritual reality, we can drop our load anytime we want to. And there's been times here recently where I've been watching things and I realized, oh my God, I'm kind of worried about this. And because I'm worried and looking and this and that and the other thing, I realized that my focus was being kind of, sucked out, if you will, and into other areas. And it wasn't that I was frustrated, but I was paying too much attention to smaller details when I realized, they got you. Because what are you worried about? What have you been thinking about the last 3 or 4 days? Well, this thing over here, there you go. But me thinking about it over and over and over and over again is insanity. because I still, you know, let the things go. My brain, my whatever, in a way, it pisses me off. But the end deal is like when I drop it and go, you know what? I've really been somehow, this thing jumped on my back and I've been walking around with it for the last week and didn't even realize it had jumped on. And then so whoops, ooh, crap. That's been bothering me. Well, if it bothers you, maybe you should deal with it. And in my own self, I was like, but the biggest thing when any situation comes up is ask the simple question, why is this bothering me? Well, but this person over here and that, fine. But can is going over there and punching them in the nose going to do any good? Maybe. But or are you going to allow your emotions and your energies to not drop it? Can you do anything about it? No. We can still pray. I still pray for positive bugs. I still pray that sex trafficking and any kind of human trafficking will cease. Now there's on the internet, it was a big deal back when I was growing up, donate your body to science. Now come to find out, people who've been donating their bodies to science, actually they can get as much as, the person that you give your body to, the organization, can sell your whole cadaver for $25,000. What? Then that means maybe I should put myself on eBay and say, look, when I die, whoever wants me, I want your money now, and I'll give you, permission to take my cadaver when I'm dead. But I was like, well, I'll devote, I've thought about this many times, devote my body to science. Come to find out, they're chopping people up and literally sending them around the world. For what? Is that for science? Oh my God. Whoa. Wait a minute. So got to rethink that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the point. The end of the line, the end of the row, the end of it is at your discretion. Are you tired of being pissed off about something? Then end it. Period. End it. Figure out a way. Ask the question, why is it making me mad? Why do I feel like this? Why? And if you are honest with yourself, it may be a simple son of a bitch because I allowed it. Whoa. That is one of the biggest lessons I learned. Why does that piss me off? Because I allowed it to piss me off. But you allowed it. But you allowed it. But oh crap, I did. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't have emotions or that I don't have feelings on things. It's how I became or let the particular topic subject affect me. That's my choice. It's your choice. So if something is constantly pissing you off, you can stop and go, wait a minute. You're not going to piss me off no more. I don't care what you do. You're not going to piss me off. I don't like it, but it's not going to piss me off anymore. And when you make these basic, simple, you say, well, that sounds really simple. Try it. It takes practice, but you can do it. And that's how we keep our energy up. That's how we stop this constant up, down, up, down, up, down. Well, I'm pissed off. Now I'm going to go meditate. I'm pissed off. I'm going to meditate. Meditate when as soon as you feel that frustration, as soon as you feel it come in. And now to me, I asked my spirit guide, I said, look, if because I'm not in control, that was back then, because I'm not in control of myself, tap me on the shoulder when I start getting too frustrated. When my frustration especially starts getting angry. And if I'm not listening to you, slap me upside the head and say, dude, you're doing it again. So in my own reality, I realized that sometimes a tap on the shoulder was like not loud enough. And I literally, spirit guide was like, oh, I'm going to chuck you one in the head, Bubba. If you don't pay attention. Do you see you're getting angry, Hawkeye? Well, yeah, but it's my right to. Oh, crap. Thank you. So ask your angel guide, Warn me when I start going past that threshold. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, be pissed off. Get it out of your system, then drop it. Because then they can't, then no more energy can go. It's okay to be mad. I'm not saying don't ever get angry or show your emotions. But if you carry it beyond 5 minutes, it's 3 minutes too long, probably. Work it out, understand. But as soon as, if you realize, son of a bitch, I'm getting pissed off. I'm pissed off at being pissed off. That's how I got. Damn it, I'm pissed off again because I got pissed off. It's a slippery slope, but it's what we do as human beings. It's how we have been conditioned or have conditioned ourselves a lot of times. But it goes back to the bottom line. Can you be brutally honest with your own self and go, shit, maybe I am to blame because I accepted it. I accepted being pissed off. I accepted the fact that I allowed my pissed offness to carry through into other things. And oh my God, that is my fault. Now, what other people do is not your fault. And they can piss you off, but your acceptance of it is up to you. And when you realize that and really sink your teeth and go, oh, son of a bitch, crap, I made a mountain out of a molehill, or however you want to look at it. So, personal advice to you all is I can't tell you if it's right or wrong, only you can. But if you're accepting negative energy for any longer than a couple of minutes, on whatever scale it is, you are allowed, there's something else inside you. You need to ask the question, why does this affect me like this? Why am I getting this upset? Why? But it's their fault. Is it? Well, but somebody called me an asshole and then I punched him in the nose. Well, but did the word asshole do anything? It's your choice to get pissed off about it. And your reaction was punch him in the nose. You have the choice to go, well, maybe I am an asshole to you and you may be an asshole to me. That's going to get you punched. But to the points, it's like, so if that's what you think of me, okay, fine. I'll try to be a better human being and maybe I'll, muddle through somehow and you and I can still be friends. I mean, I've seen arguments. I've been through the ringer where some folks literally wanted to shoot me on sight kind of thing. And I realized that it was my own behavior that was kind of causing their behavior. It was my reaction to what they said and back and forth and body language, blah, blah, blah. But when I basically realized that I was at fault because I allowed it in my own terms, not about the other person, but I allowed the other person to piss me off. Oh, crap. I'm not going to let them do it anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm sorry. Have a great day. Well, listen, I changed my tone of voice and I went from having 600 people pissed off at me as an engineer at Prestolite. I ended up with 600 friends at the end of it because I changed my point of view as to how I took what they said to me. I went, okay. So when I say, sometimes I cross my arms and go, I have to allow the information to come in. I don't technically, I say I don't trust anybody. That's not true. But, somebody gives me a harebrained story. I'm going to go, well, let me think about this, as so should you. So anyway, my dear friends, sun's going down. It went down in the wrong window again. Let's see, Artemis, how does one force themselves to consciously awake to the fact that it pisses me off versus I just pretended to be honest with myself just so the worry goes away, only for it to come back again, like you say? Artemis, that's where the brutally honest comes in. Did you fake it? And here's the answer. You answered yourself in the question. If it comes back, then you must not have dealt with it. That's how I understand. Oh, holy crap, I'm pissed off again about this. Then somehow in there, in your own internal work, and I can't answer this part for you at all, other than there's something else is inside, or there's something sneaky in there, And maybe it is. I know myself, I lied to myself in the mirror. You're being honest with yourself. And then you walk away and go, he. I was just kidding. And then when when the issue pops up again, I go, oh, some bitch. I guess I really wasn't honest with myself. So it's how brutally honest with yourself can you be? Or are you? If you feel if the same thing pisses you off again, then maybe you go, well, and I can't, I'm trying to use my own personal experience, if you will. And this has happened with the pedo thing and some of the stuff. And I went through a little relapse a couple of months ago where I got really pissed off about the Pope and certain things again, and this Jeffrey Epstein stuff and all this other thing, human trafficking and all this stuff. Does that piss me off? Yeah. But I have chosen to just watch it. And I don't mean get involved watching it. I mean, just keep an eye on where's this going? Oh, interesting. This person, oh, it doesn't make me mad anymore. But a year ago, probably it would have. So it's an ongoing thing. And I realize there's sometimes that something will come up and I'll be angry just like that. And I'll go, ooh, stop. Here's the bottom line. Do you wish to stop being angry? I wanted out of it. I wanted out of this anger cycle. So I had to say to myself, all right, spirit guide, let me know if I've gone out of my brain and I've gone off track and I'm following this too much. Just tap me on the shoulder and go, hey, you're out of line. That's all. Just, you're out of line. Not with being pissed off or about the subject that I'm out of line with. I've gone too far with the frustration, which leads to anger, which leads. So it is all about, just got bright all of a sudden, eh? So I hope that it kind of helps you understand a little bit. Slow drivers do it to me every time. But Wednesday once saved my body from flying by a hidden cop, so I'm going to tolerate them now. Ian says pissed offedness. Yeah, different ways to describe it. Thank you, Ian. Maverick says, instead of being upset, try to see the issue from a loving perspective. Be understanding, walk in their shoes, center yourself, take a breath. All very good points, Maverick. But sometimes you can't put yourself in the shoes of a pedophile. And you just have to say, I can't allow my spirit to get involved in that type of frustration. It's something on the other side of the world. But the positive side of it is I can pray. I can send, you know what? This pisses me off, so I'm going to send twice as much positive prayer to the universe to stop this. A solution. Yeah. So the opposite. Well, this is pissing me off. Stop. Okay. It's pissing me off, so I'm going to pray to the positive. So instead of allowing it to continue, God damn it, maybe I need to pray more positive about this because it's still pissing me off. I know it's a strange, discussion around this. And I've used a lot of different metaphors and vehicles to try to get across my point of view. But it basically is internal. And like I've said before for myself, I thought I was being honest with myself. Little hidden trick is in the back of the head, little things like, but I'm mad again. Then you haven't really dealt with your anger issues, have you, Hawkeye? Ooh, guess not. Which humbles me. Because I think I've made good strides, and considering how angry I was many years ago, oh boy, what a difference a day makes. Or a decade, actually. But the idea, though, that is that can I lose control like I did before? No. Because the stops are in place. The warning signs for myself are like when I feel my blood pressure start to get, I realize, oh, crap, here comes frustration. I don't want that. I know I still have to read the headlines. I still have to, pay attention to what's going on in the world. But how I react to it is up to me. And it is, which means all things. How you react to your own self is up to you. Well, are you making progress? Well, I don't know. I keep going back over the same things over and over. And if you're repeating something, Here's something. If you keep going over the same thing over and over, why can't I understand this? Why can't I understand this? Why can't I understand? Why can are you questioning it too much? And in my own life, I had to say, and Spirit Guide said, here you go again, asking why, when you need to just shut up your brain. Shut your brain up. Just stop thinking about it. Allow the answer to come to you. But hush, Dave. Let us let this information come into you. Let it sink in. I was too caught up in trying to find the answer when I couldn't see it or hear it. Too many radios on at the same time. But maybe the answer's over. Maybe this is maybe, but I'm looking for the answer, and you know I'm looking for the answer, and you shut up. Okay. Okay. Many times in my own life, I was looking too hard because I expected a different result. I expected something. So when it didn't come in the way I thought, my old adage about somebody needs a car and they secretly want a Ford, but they end up with a 2-year-old Chevy instead of a brand new Ford. But it's still a car that you desire. So if you want spiritual awareness, then quit asking, is it ever going to come? Quit questioning, just keep seeking it. Say, well, I don't know. How do I feel today? I don't know. Spiritually speaking, did I get pissed off today? No. Was I frustrated about anything? Well, it only lasted a short time. And so you can look back on your own life to see, well, I don't get near as angry. I'm speaking about myself. I'm not near as angry a person as I used to be. Did that change my overall vibrations? You betcha. Because I'm not angry all the time. I'm not letting things piss me off like they did. So you're already vibrational higher, and you just stop being angry. That changes your whole perspective. So, but if you still have anger and all these other issues, and you're curious as to why you're not being more spiritual or spiritually aware or awake, you still got internal issues. It's the bottom line. You can't, no matter how you try to wipe it away or go in another direction or try to fake yourself out of it, you got to do your homework. That's like people who think we're going to go right into the fifth dimension. No, we got to go in the fourth. We want to go into the fourth. We want to learn how to be fourth dimensional beings so we can be better fifth dimensional beings. So people will try to take a shortcut in spirituality when they're still pissed about everything in their life. Does that make you spiritually any cleaner or higher or better frequency? You're arguing all the time? I'm going to say no, sheepishly, and kind of hide because you might slap me with, words or phrases or, negative energy. But, that's where the brutally honest comes in. You're going to smack yourself. You're the one that's going to, I came out bloodied and bruised through my own personal things. But if you can't be 100% honest with yourself, then how can you be 100% honest with the universe? How do you know that you're receiving all the good energy when this negativeness is masking the positive things that should be affecting you, rather than allowing only the negative things to affect you and to trigger you and to do all these things? So when I see something that's really bitchin' nasty, instead of it pissing me off now, I go into prayer mode. Son of a bitch, rah, rah, rah. That needs some prayer. That subject right there needs some good intent put in the universe. That right there needs to be discussed so that we think in a higher level, so that we don't allow these negative things to hold our energies down, and which is holding the entire planet down. It's exponential in that respect. It's time for me to take my meds. I'm still coughing up nasty stuff. Whatever this virus is I got, it's being a I could almost got frustrated about that. Um, Let me back up here. Um, yeah, as Maverick says, and I'm agreeing with this. Instead of being upset, try to see the issue from a loving perspective. And just Spitfire is kind of scary if I can be subconsciously pissed. I was, and I had to understand that there were things that were pissing me off that really went back to childhood. Divine Living Man, thank you as well. Pamela, I don't know if it's brilliant, but it's where we need to be. Just Spitfire said, I said, Spirit guide, whoever hears me, show me where to dig. My mother-in-law did the same thing whenever oh, sorry, different person. Pamela says, and light candles and incense every day. If you can, yes. And for every time you light them with good intent. And your intent, and you don't have to go over it over and over and over and over again. Say it with intent. I light this candle with the intent to bring peace, love, and harmony into the world. And send that prayer, and and let that prayer be the whole length of the candle. Now, I would suggest the little votive candles kind of thing, so they don't burn out and this that, and they're really cheap. And anyway, but so that the prayer will be heard. Divine Living Man, my mother-in-law did the same thing. Whenever frustrated, she prayed about it, and as time passed, it came true. Ian says it's difficult to remain emotionally detached when it comes to the crime of pedos. Ian, I understand. And after having 4 priests mess with me, I had to forgive myself. Boy, you talk about a lot of internal work there. And I still don't like it, but if I'm going to help the world, I can't allow myself to be degraded down to the level of being angry, pissed off about anything. Short term, okie dokie. Long term, no. Instead of being pissed off, I have to say, dang, that pisses me off. I'm going to pray this doesn't happen again. I'm pissed off. I'm going to pray that doesn't happen again. And I'm going to ask my friends, you see this event, let's pray this doesn't happen again. Let's pray that people will turn, people in. Let's pray that, we can make a difference when we are aware. But do we have to bring our emotions down to the point of that our energy is no good? And I say, turn that lemon into a lemonade. But, pedo thing, I know I've been through it. I've done videos about it, and I won't go into any depth now. But the internal work that I had to do myself to forgive them, forgive myself, and to understand that all of my years of pissed offness, I had to turn into a positive. Pray for anybody else, not waller in my own what happened to me or why is this still happening, because there's crazy weirdo people out there. So let's pray we get them sons of bitches off the street. Pray in whatever positive way. I know it's difficult. All I dug was a bolt and a half, a horseshoe. What's the meaning of all half horseshoes? Are they really like wishbones? No, it means that you've got a lot of water in the soil that made it rust in half. I don't know about that with just Spitfire. Pamela says, I'd take the Chevy any day. Thank you, Pamela. Maverick George, if you want the world to change, look no further than yourself. That's true. And then as we change ourselves, we project a better tomorrow. And it is happening. The milk cow, if you just sit through the negative feelings without fighting them or running from them, eventually they pass. That's very true. Now, I want to warn about that because I did that too. And I wasted a lot of time doing nothing, letting negative pass. When I actually found out I benefited more when I dealt with that negative in my life head on and said, hang on, I'm not going to just sit here and And now that helps because we have to maintain. But at the same time, that's in a way, it's a chicken shit way out. Well, I'm just going to wait for the negative to go by. Maybe there's something, the negative pissed us off. Maybe we need to go inside ourselves and there's still something there. Now, there are negative events that sometimes the best thing we can do is just, kind of stay out of it and let the event go by. It could be an emotional event, it could be a physical event. But I warn you that just sitting by every time I did that, and I realized, oh, holy crap, it really didn't get me anywhere because I still hadn't dealt with, after several years of, I'll just, let this go by. I realized, yeah, but inside it was still pissing me off. I still hadn't dealt with my own internal issue. Oh, now those kinds of things, yeah, they kind of like, yeah. But to the milk cow, I agree with you, I do, but you have to be careful with the situation. And I can let it go. Well, I don't have to go to work anymore. I'm retired. I can let that shit just go by. It didn't help me. I had to do the work, and then it helped. So, but thank you for your response back. Um, Pamela says, true, Ian, it does seem that survivors are somehow better equipped to share this intel, possibly because of that fact. Good point, Pamela. Delaney says, hi, Delaney. Spiritual hello to you as well as everybody here. Pamela, the 2,000-year-old plasma field this system is traversing causes extreme emotional responses, confusion, a great many philosophical symptoms, to name a few. Agreed. Milk cow. It just depends on the root of the feeling, I guess. Yes, milk cow. And sometimes, the root of that feeling can be so weirdly obscure. And because I had to look at certain things in my life, and I can't think of any one particular thing right now, but it was like there was something that was like really so tiny and insignificant that happened years ago that I realized it had been a kernel of something I hadn't dealt with. And I was like, but it was way back in the back of my mind, but every once in a while it would show up. And I was like, now what in the hell, where's that coming from? I've dealt with all this other stuff, but what the shit is it? Oh, because there was so, how do I put this? There were so many other things that were clouding my foreground that the tiny little things that were significant, but in smaller pieces, had been masked, hidden behind all the grand pedo things and stuff like that. When there were some other smaller incidents that had happened in my life that I had really chose to ignore. But when I had dealt with all the other things that were really foremost in my brain, I realized I hadn't dealt with these secondary issues that had a tendency, it was not very big in the grand scheme of things, but I hadn't dealt with them personally and it just took a little bit of thought and was like, holy crap, let's put this subject to bed. This happened. I didn't like it. It was this and blah, blah, blah. I forgive myself for being an idiot back then, and I'm not going to allow this to affect me anymore. I wash my hands. I've asked Creator, I had to forgive myself, and that, I'm past this now. And I realized that there were a couple little tiny corners of cobwebs in the brain thingy. And I was like, oh, so I dealt with the big stuff, but I hadn't dealt with some of these little tiny, didn't think they mattered kind of thing. But when all the other stuff was gone, they came out of my subconscious and said, hi there. Interesting. So when you think you got them all, maybe not. Just, I know I was surprised. Just fit for, I've forgiven my childhood abuser a long, long time ago, unless it's a subconsciously. I've never pissed about it. It can be just, can that be just as bad? Yes. If there are some people with, how do I put this? A very good point, though. I'm trying to find something in my own brain. Um, you can dismiss something and, well, I've forgiven them. But did you really? And what I mean is that, um, how did it affect you? Did you uh, make peace with yourself? Well, it happened. Well, could you work your way around it? I mean, I don't know, and I'm not trying to be um, asking pointed questions, just Spitfire. I'm just saying, in my own terms, I had to realize that there were other incidents, and I'm like, well, I could forgive this, but and I gotta be honest with you. I'm still kind of sort of pissed at some of the stuff that happened to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. That shouldn't have happened. The church should have apologized. But personally, it's not about me. It's about that the church is still doing that, the Catholic Church and other entities, and that they're still getting away with it. No, so it's carried forward in that it's been a long time, grief with me. At the same time, all I can say is, hey, y'all, let's stop this. But getting pissed, being pissy about it all the time just ain't working. We got to put more positive energy. We got to go find these folks. We got to take them off the streets. But subconsciously, there were issues that I thought I kind of tossed them to the side. Well, I forgive them. But subconsciously, did you deal with it? And I can't answer that, just Spitfire, other than sometimes when you think you've dealt with it subconsciously, actually you just tossed it aside. It's still there. You didn't deal with it. You didn't put it up. You just said, eh. Now, I'm not saying that, yeah, just Spitfire. Did you forgive yourself? Totally. I, that's where my shortcoming was. I hadn't forgiven myself. And I'm not asking, I don't want to know any more, just Spitfire. Just saying. Um, Maverick says, I think as healers, we are attempting to help others learn by our own mistakes. I won't talk about other people's mistakes. Well, I do talk about my granddaughter a little bit, but, I don't drag her through the mud. She has addiction problems like her grandpa did. And I've tried to help her, but the addiction got her anyway. So am I still praying for my granddaughter? You betcha. Do I still love her? You betcha. Does she make stupid mistakes? You betcha. Well, I tell her they're stupid. You betcha. So the milk cow meditation is a constant process of refinement until hopefully someday the mind heart is much more clear of, I believe the world is samskaras. Spitfire, if you're at peace with what happened to you, that's great. It can be very difficult for people to heal from that kind of trauma. And Spitfire, I'm not saying that you haven't dealt with it, but if there's something that keeps kind of coming back up, there were some things subconsciously in me that I realized, oh, they were small little things, but I hadn't addressed them head on to that. So, and I that's all the advice I can give is sometimes the little things that you think you dealt with maybe haven't been honestly dealt with. And it doesn't mean you got to go back through and cry and whine and all that kind of thing. No, it's just like, ask the question, did I really settle that? That's all. Did I really settle that? And if the answer kind of comes back, well, maybe not. Then, so Maverick says, dealing with your darker side is difficult, very difficult, and often painful, very painful. I'm adding that at your own pace. There is no rush. You are exactly where you're supposed to be and will arrive as intended. Yep. Now, I want to add a caveat to what Maverick George just said. There are folks, though, that I've been watching over these last several years, and they just keep repeating the cycle. You think they've made like progress, but then they go back into the same subject, and and it's like they're just repeating the spiritual cycle without ever going anywhere. They're going around in circles, literally. And it's sort of like the snake eating his tail kind of thing. And I look at some of these folks and I go, listen, you guys have got a really good handle on this, but you keep expecting something else. You keep expecting more when you're not even happy with what you already got. Just saying. But and that's not to say that you shouldn't keep seeking, but sometimes there's a point when you can seek so much that you have lost. What am I seeking? Well, I don't know. I'm you get caught up in seeking and don't understand that it maybe the answer is already there. You've already found it, but you continue to seek because it's in you. You know, you got to keep, well, there's got to be something else. There's got to be more. There's got to be, maybe, but are you looking too hard? Sometimes, and the meditation, I'll say meditation, yes, but sometimes it's just being quiet. Just allow, don't try to meditate. Just allow what's in your head to kind of work itself out. Because sometimes you'd be surprised. That's when stuff comes out. But yes, dealing with the darker side. Now, some people want to say, well, I'm not evil, this darker side. Yeah, but are you being totally honest with yourself? That's the darker side. Those are the shadow areas, the shadow work, if you will. Now, to the people, well, wait a minute, I don't have an evil bone in my body. Ain't saying that. But there is a dark side, meaning it's not of the light. It's in the shadow. It's the shadow work. And too many of us have little nooks and crannies that can actually use a flashlight or a candle, And it's surprising to me. You'd be surprised. Just there'll be the least, the most obscure thing or whatever, and you'll go, oh my God, but that's a gnat. It's a gnat. And I'm looking at a grizzly bear and there's a gnat. You can deal with the grizzly bear, but the gnat's always like, bzzz. You can't quite get him and you're slapping him, bzzz, and it gets in your eye and the gnats are a pain in the ass. But so sometimes it's the gnats of life, not the bears, that really annoy us. And anyway. Let's see. Spitfire says, no wonder my head hurts all the time. Pamela says, that plasma field holds the light of 1,000 suns from Alcyon, which shows absolutely every misdeed ever done, causing humanity additional trauma. And Pam, I agree with this in that the more we talk about the trauma and it's trauma. And when we leave it at trauma without putting the, and I hate to say positive spin, but it is a positive spin. It is that, here's a crappy situation, but this is how we can get out. Here's one possible solution to get out of it. So too many people are only focusing on the trauma rather than how to get out of the trauma in any way, shape, or form. So, but to that point, I agree with you. I harbor pissed offness subconsciously. Just Spitfire, a lot of us do. I'm one of them. I will be totally honest with you. And no, I still have pissed offness in me. You could probably hear it by voice sometimes, but so yeah, I got it too. And the thing is that's what makes us human. But I refuse to allow it to overtake and control me. I'm aware it's there. And that's the big thing. If you say, well, there's no pissed offness in me, and tomorrow you get pissed off, you go, I did it again. So the biggest thing is, yeah, I reserve a little bit of right to be pissed offness, That's a really good phrase, I guess. It's starting to make me laugh. But I make myself laugh. But the idea, though, that, yeah, that we can keep some of that in reserve, but are you conscious of it? That's the trick. And see, just Spitfire, now you have just become aware that, you know what, maybe I've got some subconscious pissed offness. And that awareness right there is a step forward, because I never thought maybe there was some subconscious pissed offness even could exist in me. Whoops. Another enlightening thing on the road to spiritual awareness. It could exist. And one of the things I've always talked about, when you say, well, that can't exist, that's maybe it can. Maybe there are these quiet things. I keep telling folks, when you look at the world and, and folks say, well, this is how it is, or this is what history was. There's so much more to the story, that we really don't know it all. We just have highlights of things and what people want us to see. So we have to discern for ourselves. And I reserve some pissed offness, but I am aware that it's there. Uh, but thank you, Just Spitfire. I'm using you. I'm not trying to beat you up. Thank you very much. I just caught my friends in the sky uploading video now. Oh my God, you're going to crap my pants. So, Delaney, okie dokie. Pamela says humans are so extremely powerful that they can overcome all adversity and trust yourself. Yeah. And that's a big thing. When and one of the things I realized when I realized I had to do internal work, I realized there were going to be things. Well, did I get them all? Probably not. I'm 67. And so there's been a lot of stuff that's in my subconscious and things. So the first thing I am aware of is, did I get all the negative crap, or have I dealt with everything? The answer is no. Because I'm sure there are subconsciously some things that still will pop out and go, I haven't thought of that in 30 years. And it's not that there's anything big, hadn't thought of it, but now I can go, you know what? I remember that. And I was really a shithead that back then. And I wish I hadn't have done that. And I hope and pray that I don't do anything like in the future. And may my prayers go backwards and heal anything that I may have caused. And then I move forward, So, and for every little gnat that comes at me and tries to stick me in the eye, I go, well, there's a gnat, need to deal with it. Well, what about the bear over there? Yeah, he's okay. Just Spitfire. Thank you, Hawkeye. It gives me a different way of thinking about stuff. You're absolutely welcome, Spitfire. Pamela, the Ouroboros. Okay. Delaney, please forgive my language. I just hopped in here and Spirit said, go outside. You go, girl. Maverick says, grounding, delightful, Danny. Yep. Pamela, all extreme learning experiences. Right. Okay. Ian Barber, when we focus on the detail, the big picture becomes blurred. And when we are looking at the big picture, we miss the detail. Yep. And both are important. So you look at the big picture, but then you see over in the corner a symbol or a sign or something. You go, I saw the picture before, but I didn't look at the different corners. So there are truth in the corners that are true, to your point, that are obscured by the big picture. Doesn't mean it isn't there. And both affect us. And it may be that we've seen the big picture, but if we allow ourselves to understand what we looked at, we will see the details. That's a little obscure in that respect. I hope that kind of made sense. Maverick says, rewrite your story, go back through the memory, relieve it, heal it by changing your perception from one of fear to that of unconditional love and forgiveness. And also, too, and I realized for myself that, man, I wished I hadn't have done that. So you got to forgive yourself, because whatever it was, when you go back through that detail, you have to forgive yourself for being an idiot. I mean, basically. And you have to be man enough or woman enough or spirit enough to go, you know what? I really was an idiot, well, a person hit me in the head and we had a fist fight. Yeah, but did you instigate it in any way? Did you do something? Well, no, he was the one that was, yeah, you probably did a little, not every time, but you probably did something to egg it on. Hey, we are who we are. And I know that's just a bad example, but I've been in a bar, I've been in bar almost fights. And I've looked at the drunk and go, you know what? You're as drunk as I am. What? You want to fight? I want to sit down and drink a beer. You're as drunk as I am. Well, I know I'm not. Yes, you are. You're falling over too. And, like changes up. And I don't want to fight. About what? About I'm drunk and you're drunk? It's a huh? So, I know that was a bad, I don't know where I went with that one. But we can change things, and our perception is just how we are at the moment. So, um, Ouroboros snake entity eating its tail. I've got you. Just Spitfire. I hope that you're able to view them and can tell what you're looking at regarding the pics I sent. I'll look at them as soon as I get off of here. Just Spitfire was unconscious. I subconsciously undug the same day as the horseshoes. Don't forget to check them out. I will. They're in my hangout thing. Is it Millie Cow? I'm missing. There's too many straight lines there. You're on fire tonight, Hawkeye. This psychoanalysis stuff has fascinated me for the last year or two. I could talk endlessly about all this stuff and not really say anything the only way I can. Thank you. Um, keep it concise is stating my conclusion that meditation is the most important thing. Spitfire, I loved it. I literally laughed out loud. Here's one of the things too, and to your Count Millicow, is that there are times when I have come up with a conclusion to have later had to revise that conclusion because more information and more awareness come in. So I have realized that I come up with a temporary conclusion, a possible solution, or, that fits in all the realms. And I'm going to kind of leave it over here as that looks like a pretty good picture of how shit is. But later on, as things and more information, spiritual growth, etc., I go, you know what? I thought I had it all figured out over here, and come to find out, most of this is correct, but there's a little bit more to this point and to that point and to this one and to that one. So when I quote, make my conclusions, they're temporary. They're conclusions at the time with the information that I had at that moment, because I keep getting surprised by the universe. And, well, I thought I already had that figured out. Not quite. You most of the information you got, Hawkeye, is good, but there's extra to this. So I've said this before, and I continue to say, if you think you've got all the answers, you're going to just shit your pants when more answers come in. And because you say, well, that must be all of it. No. When, but our awareness in so many ways, I mean, we don't know it all. We've got a lot of good information, but do we really? If I knew it all, I'd be able to walk through that freaking wall right there. That's my point. So a lot to learn still. So my conclusion is, at this point in time, this is what I see, feel, touch, hear, whatever. So, but of all the things I've learned, every time I make a freaking conclusion of something, well, there's another little twist to it. So it's an open-ended conclusion, if you will. It's temporary for the point in time that it happens. I'm thinking too many times back when I'm like, I thought that was, and then nope, that's not. Well, what about? Whoop, I got it. No, you don't. But no, you don't. So I'm like, yes, open-ended, and it doesn't mean that the information that you've acquired up to that point is wrong. It just means that there's more. That's all, or a little subjective thing to it, Milk Out. Milk Cow says, and it's easy to dismiss, but if you understand it, you understand it. Meditation is very powerful. It just takes dedication and patience. Now, to your point, yes, meditation is important. But if you understand that you can meditate from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and you don't have to stop and do whatever you're doing, boy, now that's a trick. And that's one of the things that I'm working on now. Everything must eventually be reconsidered. Right now, I feel that without meditation, I stagnate. I stagnate. Oh, absolutely. I'm not trying to say don't meditate. No, no, no. I'm trying. I think you already understand. Yes, it's open ended. In your meditation, you can meditate on the why is the world flat or round. That's your own personal thing. But in mine, I realized that things are circular in nature and stuff. So, well, my contemplation of why is the world round is more of, wow, the world is round. Let's see what I can understand about it. So my meditation on what started out years ago, I'm just using round earth as a thing. Oh, why is the world round? Or why is, this, that, why? Well, if I stop asking the question why and say, well, but let me meditate on the why of this, and and I'll get through meditation, or, you know, sometimes, let me toss this out to you. Sometimes, oftentimes, contemplation is just as important as meditation. Think about that one for a second. Contemplation on a subject without, just pros, cons, ups, downs, left, right, without meditating on it, which is trying to reach your spirit guide, if you will, but contemplation, allowing your own brain to contemplate pros and the cons and the ins and the outs. Contemplation is just as important because I can meditate and receive certain things, but then I must contemplate what I learned from meditation. So, but if I just constantly stayed in meditation without contemplating the meditation, I know that sounds really kind of convoluted, but you got to stop and contemplate what's going on. Yeah, you agree with that too. Yeah. So I'm with you there. I really do, and you all have some absolutely wonderful, powerful thoughts and ideas. And I'm just being the instigator in the group. Let me add this little caveat, if you will. And thank you all for allowing me to do that. Because see, for every time we think we got it understood, yeah, but have we contemplated the meditation? You know what I mean? Have we contemplated this yet? Or did we just meditate on it? Well, yeah, but they showed me this, but sometimes I don't understand what the meditation means because I haven't contemplated it yet. And sometimes the contemplation takes a while to unravel the meditation. I know I'm going around and around with these words. Lord have mercy. You all are a blast. Spitfire says, that might be easier than regular meditating, Hawkeye. Meditation can take 5 minutes, Spitfire, but contemplation take days or weeks or months or years. So one thing that you're shown by the universe may take a lifetime of contemplation. It's not more important. They're both are important. But that's my point. If you think one is more than the other, they're both important. Pamela says, with 7 billion beings or more traversing 4D unconsciously manifesting, it would be impossible to know anything more than perhaps 40 of what's occurring. Understood. Maverick says, which is to say nothing. We know as much as a Jon Snow. I don't know what that means, Maverick. Actively thinking and listening are both important. Right, Millie Cow. Pamela, doing well, staying in my lane, creating my own reality. Right. Spitfire says, I will never think that I understand any of this. Understand that you understand as much as you do. And for every day of contemplation and meditation, the understanding will come even more. But I retracted that. Maverick says, then you are miles ahead of your peers at Just Spitfire. I agree with you, Maverick. And I try to say it's not being more or less than other people, but it really does, let's be honest, it really does boil down to that, doesn't it? Are you more aware of things or not? And one of the things that I try to understand and try to convey in my, old hippie hermit type of way is that, do you understand, that your meditation is helping you to feel better in the universe? Are you more aware of just things around you? If you're aware that there are more levels of understanding to something, then you have just taken a step forward. But if you just sit back and go, well, it's just this, without, any more contemplation or thought forward with it, then you kind of get yourself stuck in a rut in that spiritual realm. So we have to understand that for every step we take, there's another step coming. And I look forward to it. It's like, yeah. And it's sort of like being on a hike in a place you've never been before. And it's like, what's around that next bend? Is there a vista overlooking the valley? Is there a mountain I'm going to see? Or is a bird going to swoop in? So it's the anticipation of what's to come next. And in the spiritual realm, it's like, understand that there's many levels. So you start out with like, okay, I understand there are many levels. Well, okay, so that's a basic. I understand that there's more to this world than we can see, feel, touch, or smell. That is a big jump. So there are certain tiny little steps you all have already made in this journey of spiritualness and awareness, where other people, nope, they don't even want to stop and consider what I just said, or what you may have said, or put it to other people. And so it's important that we understand that, hey, I get this. Am I going to understand the meaning of life? I don't know. I keep getting more information. Well, I understood it this way 3 years ago. Now I understand the meaning of life as being not totally different, but more different on a different level than I understood 3 years ago. So I look forward to what's coming next. What can you all show me next? What all will come to me with all these other energies and the spirits and all of the energies from the universe? These are all having an effect on us as well. And so, and what is this going to do? Well, I don't know. I'm along for the ride like the rest of us here, but I am aware that it's going on. So simply by that statement, I am aware that there are changes, versus other people who go, well, I don't know, changes? What the hell are you talking about? Changes, meditation, contemplation, that's just all bullshit, Hawkeye. Well, okay, then your awareness is at whatever level that is. You choose to be here. The rest of us choose to, wonder what's ahead of us. Don't know. Could be scary as crap. And it could be bliss, there's probably a little bit of both, tied up in there. But the basics of understanding in a shaman realm is that there is more to it. And but what is it? Well, you have to live life, and it will come to you. And if you sit in the house all day and you're agoraphobic and you look out the window, how much of the universe can you actually see? So some people are locked in their spiritual houses, if you will. And so, but I can see it. I'm looking at the window, and maybe it's with the Bible folks. Maybe it was, I know some Buddha folks who are like, there are some narrow-minded buttholes, in my opinion. Oh, namaste. And I just want to slap them. Oh, namaste. And they're almost like they've become spiritual ding-a-lings. I don't know how else to put it without just getting really rude, but no, namaste. And it's like, why are you saying that? Could you say, peace be to you, brother? Namaste. Talking this flowery way. Oh my God, we got a spiritual dingbat here, And, not to say that it's bad, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You probably know a few of these people yourself. Everything is namaste, and they think they're so in tune, and they don't even know what the word means, probably, but to the point, or the message behind it. That's what's more important. They say it without even understanding. But to the point, though, Some of these folks, I just got to say, man, these folks are just spiritual dinglings. Their heart is in the right place. They really want to, but they just, oh, this is, I don't know. Maybe they took a hit of acid and it never came down. I don't know, but I look at them sometimes and I go, I'm praying for these folks because their intention is good. They're not trying to create any evil, but they're stuck. They can't go beyond namaste, you know. But what do you understand? Namaste. I know I'm carrying that too far, but I've got a certain person in mind that just every time we try to talk, bananas, and I'm just, oh, I really wanted to just slap up, say, don't do that again, please. Just use another word. Anyway, it's my closet pissed offness about these spiritual dingbats, I guess, dingalings. And I love them, I do, but they're just stuck. You know, they can't go past that. I'm praying. I'm praying. Just be aware of other things. Okay, enough of that. Oh, I'm sorry. I got my own funny bone on that one. Anyway, um, hang on. Wow, you guys went. Spitfire says, "I will be awarded with what I know instead of what I didn't get to learn." Yes, that's very true. Just Spitfire. If when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. And but when the roll is called up yonder, what is it they're going to say? Well, do you understand this? Do you get this? Do you understand? Do you have faith in the universe? Do you understand that trees and things are living? Do you there are just going to be certain things that uh, we are going to understand and know in our hearts as to be true without being really having a need to explain why we believe it's true. It's do trees exist? Yes. Is 2 + 2 4? Yes. I don't care how you want to cut it. You got 2 apples and 2 bananas. You got 4 pieces of fruit, but to the point. So there are certain things that are easy to understand and are plain for us to be able to, well, there's 4 apples. Okay. There are 2 over here. You can divide them any way you want to. 3 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 1. Well, only so many combinations. But it's still total. You still end up with 4. So, okay, you can understand that. In the realm of understanding the reality of spiritualness and so forth, you have to understand the certain basics. Are things in the universe alive? Yes. Okay. So you got to go through these baby steps. And then when you do, the rest of it, the awareness comes out. And only by living it will it come out. If you just sit in a meditative state and don't move, don't go anywhere, don't speak to anybody else, you're just gonna stay there. Because how can you allow your awareness to increase if you don't increase your awareness? I mean, if you don't go out and meet people, see things, if you've lived in the mountains and never seen the ocean, then how can you say what the ocean tastes, smells like? What does the sand feel like? What does the ocean feel like when a wave comes up and hits you? What is the ocean, the saltiness of the water? If you've lived on the beach and never been to a mountain, then you don't know what the freshness of, the a waterfall or a creek in the air that the babbling brook thing. You're never you can talk about it, but if you have not experienced it, then all you can do is talk about it. So experience as much as you can in that realm, because if you just sit and meditate without anything else to go out and experience it, well, I feel close to nature. Okay, then go outside. Well, now I'm going to sit in my apartment because it's too hot and, it's too difficult. Then go find some place that's cool, or go put your feet in the water. Go, but make an excuse. Well, I understand that trees are living things. Yeah, but do you ever go out and sit under one? Well, no, the park is the excuse. So people have these good ideas, but they don't experience them. Why are we here on this planet? To experience life. which in turn is our spiritual guide, is our, if to understand our true spiritualness is to experience it in this 3D, going into 4D reality. Why am I here? Have chats with you guys on obscure subjects like this. Pamela says, have you ever heard of Dolores Cannon, a wonderful elder that explains 4 and 5D and Earth's role in it? Pamela, I will agree with that up to a point. I think Dolores, she went too far, and people think that we're just going to jump into the 5th. And people are, well, I listened to Dolores Cannon. She says 4th and 5th. We're going to the 5th. They forget about the 4th. And I'm sorry, but the rest of the world, we need the 4th dimension. Stop talking about the 5th until we've been to the 4th. Just saying. Because after the 5th is the 6th and the 7th. There's so many more dimensions. So why is everybody hung up on a 4th and 5? Oh, it's 5D. Stay out of that, please. Let's all be happily go into the 4th. We'll find the 5th after we get to the 4th. I'm just, my personal thing. Millie Cow, it's both intuitive and intellectual. When you don't know something, you must listen and feel. When you don't feel any guidance, you have to think. Always keep this in balance. And it's a tricky balance, too. I agree with you on that. Yeah, Pamela says, thrown into the rapids just to learn how to swim. And that's a crappy way of learning how to swim. Many people drown. Just Spitfire, I had my first out-of-body dream since childhood. I don't know if that's the right term, but I was watching an event take place that I didn't attend. Sounds like it, Just Spitfire. Millie Cow, it's one and the same. The duality is a persistent illusion. When both sides of the brain are balanced, the mind is much more powerful and effective. Let me throw this into an illusion. What is an illusion? And some people say, well, life is an illusion. Is it really? I can touch this computer. I can, hit my knee on this table. I can go outside and fall down in the grass and roll around in it and get chiggers. But I can feel this. So people say, yeah, but that's just an illusion. Reality is just an illusion. It's an illusion in the spiritual sense. It's not an illusion to us in the 3D reality. So people are like, well, I looked at that tree, but it's just an illusion. No, it's not. You go up, did you touch that tree? Yeah, but it's not an illusion. In our 3D reality, it's very much real. So people are trying to use the idea of, oh yeah, but this planet we live on is just an illusion. It's an illusion in a spiritual sense, not in a physical sense. So people are they're getting this, mixed up, because when we leave this planet in our spiritual bodies, it will seem as though this life were an illusion. So people, oh, it's just illusion. It's an illusion, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's very freaking real. And people are trying to pass this off. Well, yeah, it's just an illusion. That's because you don't want to deal with it. No, it's just an illusion. Is it? Did that truck just hit you and break your arm? Yes or no? Yeah. Well, was that an illusion? No. Then you got hurt? Yeah. But 3D is just an illusion. But you got hit by a truck and broke your arm. Yeah, but it's just an illusion. Spiritually, when we leave this planet, it will seem as an illusion, but it's not. If you can touch something, it's real. If you can see something and you're seeing it, it's real. It's not an illusion. Now, I've seen some things that I thought were illusions, but were in actuality like orbs and spirit beings. They're real. So I got to be careful. Everything is an illusion phenomena that people are tossing around. I don't buy it, not the way they're selling it. An illusion is after the fact. It will seem an illusion. Now, there are folks who do now, as a puppeteer and as a storyteller and a part-time magician, I have done sleight of hand that to the observer, it seems to be an illusion. but that is called sleight of hand. Did I actually make it disappear? I created the illusion that it did. But in the 3D reality, the coin that I palmed in my hand that you thought disappeared is actually between my fingers at the back of my hand. And as I bring my hand down, I palm it, and there it is. And it's a trick. Is it an illusion? Yes, but in the reality of the magician, it's real. So is it totally illusion? You know what I'm saying? So there is this illusion of, well, but even in illusion, there is reality, because the person creating the illusion is doing it from reality. He's bending, switching, or somehow tricking your mind to look over here when he's got the coin palmed in the back of his hand over here, and you don't see it. And by sleight of hand and of this and of that, boom, there it is. It's an illusion. But physically, it still exists. There was a trick called the egg bag trick, and you have to make this special silk bag. But you can take it and put it in your hand, and you can take a normal egg and make it look like it's not in this bag. It's all an illusion. But is the egg in the bag? Oh, yeah, because it broke in my pocket. Now, when I try to get the egg out, I've got yolk and eggshell, and I show the audience and go, well, the egg really was in there, but now my egg bag's turned inside. But if these simple illusionist tricks are based on reality. Whoa, wait a minute. So the illusions that I'm seeing are the illusions that I'm creating in my own mind. They're creating illusion. So to try to confuse me, is it my own illusion? What is the illusion? But illusions, if you are a magician, are based on 3D stuff you can touch. You fool who's watching you. Same thing I used to do with puppetry. They used to think I was the best, ventriloquist there was, other than Jeff Dunham. And I'm like, I'm a lousy ventriloquist, but I know how to turn my head and speak out the side of my mouth, so you don't see my lips moving. But my lips are moving. I have turned away from the camera or the audience. So it appears that I'm a ventriloquist. I'm a crummy ventriloquist. I'm better than some others I've seen, but that's not my point. That was never my forte, but I can fake it. I can give the illusion that I'm a ventriloquist. I'm not. But it's based on my 3D and how I turn my head and how the audience appears. And I put the focus over onto the puppet. And there they think the puppet's talking when it's actually me talking out of the corner of my mouth. Illusion. But it's based on 3D reality. I'm still here. The puppet ain't real. I'm making you believe that it is. It's our interpretation. I know I got off on a tangent here, but some of these folks that everything's an illusion. Well, if you want to believe it, then you go right ahead. I choose to believe that the world is real. Milk Cow, and to clarify, I'm talking about a balance of intuitive thinking and logical thinking. When they're balanced, you don't get stuck. I agree with you. Artemis says, what does namaste even mean? Yeah, kind of, sort of. Hey, Mother Nature. Hi, good to see you. Wow, I was rambling on there. You guys went way ahead of me. George says, so hard to let them live in their delusion after that's rather than slapping the stupid out of them. I agree. That's what I said when I came in, the song. Oh, I hope I dreamt it after the event took place and not before. I really don't know, though. Keep an eye on that Spitfire, because you may find that, son of a gun, I was there. That's how you learn astral projection and forward thinking, if you will. Maverick says, Spitfire, either way, is a message you will learn from it. Be open and allow it and accept it and pass through. Yep. Maverick says, two roaches and two roaches make a fifth joint. Stoner math. I like that. Yeah. Hey, Sweet Pea, how are you? Milk Cow, yeah, yes, the second generation joint. Pamela, alchemy and magic will be the new currency. All trees are connected. Alchemical magic. Agreed. Sweet Pea, roaches are the best part. Uh, Spitfire says it was a funeral. Geez, what message is in that? Who's dying? Um, Try to ask who it was and if it was important. Sweet Pea says, hey, if you bring out the tequila, I'll be down in 5. There you go. Spitfire says, it isn't even know them personally, never met them. Weird. But you might meet them anyway. You just keep an open. Write it down in a book is what I do. When something sticks in my brain, I don't understand because I wrote something down 5 or 6 years ago and I found it recently in a book, and I went, oh my God, I forgot about this, and it fits into some stuff now. So just saying. Sweet Pea. Um, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. What is all this? Starting to feel like a video game. Level up. Mother Nature, cheers. David Null, much love, my friends. Yeah, back at you, Mother Nature. Sweet Pea, for real, if I hang out in Goldshire anymore, I might pop a vein. Pamela, in 5, no one will be able to deceive you. We need a 4D to learn discernment. Yep, a lot of this stuff is going to be out in 4. And let's focus on the next one. Let's not worry about high school till we get to 4th grade. Seriously. Um, Illusions are the things we are seeing. It's only an illusion if you accept it as an illusion. That's kind of my point to this. Um, an illusion, the art of deceiving or imposing upon deception, mockery, an unreal vision presented to the bodily or mental eye, hallucination, Webster's Encyclopedia. Right. Um, Just Spitfire, illuminate is seeing, so is illusion. Illusion is deception. You got to understand that. But it's whether or not you accept deception. And I'm using the egg bag trick as a magician. If you know what the trick is, then it's not deception. If you understand about palming a coin and how you can make it appear gone in your hand when it's really, between your fingers on the back of your hand, then you already know if you know the trick, it's not illusion anymore. It's deception. So, but if you understand, if somebody says, well, this world is an illusion, well, but when you learn that it's not an illusion, when you learn the trick, then it becomes a reality. Oh, I know that trick. That they tried to pull one on me. They tried to make an illusion. Just saying, be careful how you use this terminology of illusion, when you're referring to like the world and what we can perceive. Whose illusion is it to us? Well, it's the cabal. They're trying. Yeah, well, now I agree. These folks are throwing illusions at us that this is bad, this is good. I agree with that. But in the truth, can you go out and touch a tree? Then that's not an illusion. So if you understand as a magician how the trick works, it's deception, not illusion. It changes its physical form. So in your inner work and spiritual work, when you understand that the illusion may actually be reality, now you've learned the trick. I see through their illusions to my reality, is kind of how it works out. As a magician, I use this. Oh, well, he just palmed the coin. I saw the back of the coin. They didn't see it because they were worried about this. He was doing a good job as the illusionist. I know. Speaking too much maybe on that, but I think it's really important. People need to be careful how you use that word, y'all. Just saying. Do you really know what you're talking about? Become a magician and learn simple tricks and learn what a true illusion is. And then you may understand, maybe those folks using the word illusion are trying to put us in an illusion to convince us that it is. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's all an illusion. Is it? Not in my realm, it isn't, because I've learned the trick. Just saying. Uh, Good to see you too, Mother Nature. Um, the speed of thought is even faster than light. Absolutely. Maverick says, I did a video on image and imagination on my channel. Great. Sweet Pea says, oh, control emotions. Fuck, is there a back door? Yes, if you know where it is. It's called a trap door. Pamela says, consciousness expanding and evolving, extreme awareness. If your surroundings, trees are alive and connected. Uh, Pamela, Mother Nature, partly cloudy means partly sunny. Yep. Uh, yep. If it's going to deceive me, I won't sell it. Right. Mother Nature, be a prospect of deception for correction, perception, so there's no manipulation. I know if something is real, it's my illusion of what I see, says Spitfire. And I would continue to be careful with how you use the word, because in the reality of what we speak and how we wish to speak forward, if we speak forward that everything is illusion to us, then if we're like I've said about AI, if you think that you are a part of the artificial intelligence, congratulations. I choose not to be. I'm opting out for being a part of the AI. I'm using AI, and oh, by the way, hi Bob, and I'm out of coffee at the moment, but cheers for. Be careful. The illusion trick will give you illusions and will deceive you in on its own. Be careful. When you think you understand about illusions, it's a trap to you unless you know how a magician thinks. And a shaman in training is learning basic magical earth energies. When you understand these basics, you understand that what may seem to be an illusion is not. Be careful. Warning, 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 warning. It's like I tell people, stop using the word ascending. You ascend a ladder, you ascend the stairs, you can ascend a tree or climb it. That's one direction. We are going through a transition which is expanding in all directions, not in one. So be careful with the illusion thing. And if you think you got it, you're going to get more confused with it further down the road. I would ask you to back off using it. Well, that's an illusion, and this is an illusion. Because now you're going to manifest the fact that it is an illusion to you. Be careful what you wish for. You keep using certain words, you're going to find out maybe what you thought was real is then an illusion, but then is the illusion, when you learn the trick, actually turns around and becomes real again. Because you haven't learned to be the magician. You haven't learned the trick. So yes, it's an illusion till you learn the trick. Be careful, my friends. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Warning, warning, warning. But use the words and so forth as you wish. My 10 cents worth. But I try to stay away from it. Unless I'm making a point that what they're trying to explain to you is an illusion. Meaning the cabal is trying to say that all Russians are bad. They don't talk about the Chinese and what they're doing, but all the Russians are bad. So is that an illusion? Yeah. They're trying to create something that may not actually be there. But do the Russians exist? Yeah. Do the Russian people exist? Yeah. Do the Russians have a secret service? Yeah. But are they trying to overthrow us? There are almost three times as many Americans as there are and not counting the illegal Mexicans and other folk. But Russia's like, we got them beat 2-1, 3-1. What the hell? They're trying to overtake us. Illusion, falseness, deception. But is reality a deception? Is nature an illusion? See, we got to be careful how we use this word. Just saying, y'all. I love you, I do. And it's important that, and spirits like screaming at me, you tell these people out there that they need to quit using. All right, guys, calm down. Calm. They've got their own pissed offness, if you will. To go back to that, you tell these people to quit using it. They're using it in the wrong and with the wrong inflection and the wrong terminology. Be a magician and learn how to use the illusion. So when people are looking at you, you may be an illusion to them, but you being the magician and control of the of the trick, if you will, of the illusion that you're trying to, then you become more of the master because people don't see your sleight of hand. You become the ventriloquist. The puppet comes alive. I've had some kids, I pull a puppet out of a trunk and it's just a doll, right? Until I put it on my hand and I make it come alive. And then the kids they freak out. Oh my God, the thing's talking to me. No, I am. But you're moving its mouth. Yeah, but it's me. But so they get caught up in the illusion that somehow I've made this, inanimate object become real. Speaking of one of my little inanimate objects, here's one that I got from Appalachia, from Tennessee. And, I could put this thing on strings and bring this thing to life. And the kids that were watching it would swear that this puppet was talking. But it was the illusion that I put forward and the magic of the puppetry that allowed them to believe me. What a snow job I could put on folks, but it was all in good fun, But to the point, though, I understand what illusion means from a point of view of a puppeteer and a storyteller and a magician. But so in my world, the illusion does not mean the same thing as other people use it. Well, that's an illusion. No, it's not. But that is. Well, no, it's not. Well, but this is an illusion. Oh, stop, please. It's a perceived illusion. What is your perception of it? Did I make the coin disappear? Does the puppet actually talk? No. It's me putting my energy, So it's the illusion, it's the delusion or whatever. It's the deception that I put forth. But so, you can't use that term all the way across the board. You shouldn't use it across the board. Make sure that the circumstances you're using the word, God, they're giving me hell right now. They're like, you tell them, oh, calm down up there. Goodness gracious, it's almost like they're screaming at me. That's interesting. They have their own pissed offness up there. I love you guys, I do. Yeah, I've gone a little bit slap happy crazy here. I love you all, I do. And thank you for allowing me to be me. I wouldn't be any other way. But again, I would just say be cautious because of what I just said. If you become the illusionist, then whatever you put out or whatever could be an illusion. And see, in this respect, instead of, hiding behind a thing, my mother, Mary, Guardian, and them, they told me, they said, you got to show your face. People have to see your eyes, watch your face, see your expression, so they are not deceived. And I was like, well, I understand that one, So, but other people use other ways, and but it looks like deception to me. So is what they're saying an illusion. So, all right, let me move on with this. And I'm really getting kind of hoarse here. It's been 2 hours and 33 minutes. Oh, my God, I can't believe. Marie, oh, my goodness. Hello to all of you, my friends. Mother Nature says, I love Marion and Nana. I used to have two bobblehead ones on strings, Bomb and Bobette. That's wonderful. Hi, Bob. Just Spitfire says it's just the word we are using. Words are just words. I only say illusion because that's the word they gave it. I understand, Spitfire. My point is when we misuse a word, it becomes, we kind of manifest it. So we just, that's my only point is that too many people are using illusion and the word illusion in ways that really doesn't fit. Well, that's an illusion, but from how? So then who's creating the illusion? Well, but life is an illusion to whom? To you or to me? It's life is freaking real to me. I stubbed my toe. I got a thing on my leg. I'm thirsty and my throat hurts. Isn't that real or is this an illusion? You know, we must just simply be careful of how we use the word. And repeating somebody else's mistake does not make it right. So I'm just not trying to be negative here. And to Mother Nature, that's how I feel about the God word. Me too. See, you very seldom ever hear me use God, Spirit, Creator, but the God word, I'm agreeing with you, Mother Nature. Maverick says words are vibration and frequency. They contain power. Exactly. How you define is what you will manifest. Thank you. As I'm running my mouth, you guys are writing stuff out. Wrong context. That's all. I'm not saying don't use the word. Hello, Marie. Just bit fair. I thought illusion is just what your vision sees. What words make up the word illusion, anyways? But my point to that, you say, I thought illusion is just what your vision sees. If your vision is seeing it, then is it an illusion? It's the people who have used used that word wrongly or in the wrong context that makes it an illusion. They're trying to create an illusion by using the word illusion. I know it sounds kind of, on the end, but by Spitfire, which I thought illusion is just what your vision sees. If you're seeing it, then it's not an illusion. Unless you think it is, or unless somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And until you learn to be a magician, and I'm saying that in terms of understanding that what those folks are doing as far as trying to put forth an illusion. People are trying to convince you that this 3D world is an illusion. Well, we don't really live here, and the trees aren't really trees, and shit ain't really connected, and it's all an illusion. No, it's not. I just stubbed my toe. That hurt like hell. That's not an illusion. So we gotta, I know I'm going crazy on this, but just understand what your vision sees isn't an illusion unless somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So if you understand the magic of things, meaning that someone can do the illusion, is Mother Nature fooling us? Is Mother Nature an illusion? I don't think so. It's very real. I smell trees, flowers. I pick vegetables out of the garden. That's very real. It's not an illusion. So people who start to say, yeah, but you're that's just an illusion, Dave. No, it's not. I ate vegetables out of my garden. How can that be an illusion? I tasted them. I smelled them. I swallowed them. I crapped them out. Was all of that an illusion too? All right, I'll get off the illusion kick. But anyways, that's my point. There's too many places in this. Then people are using it yes, in a spiritual sense, all of this reality can become an illusion. Agreed. But is it? No, it's not. Is somebody pulling the wool over your eyes? Quite possibly. And that could be an illusion. I know I said I was going to shut up. They're like, keep talking about it. No, they got the point. They get the point. I'm not going to go over it anymore. Sun, I watched an amazing marionette show of a Brother Grimm fairy tale. It's incredible how strong a show like that can manipulate and tell a tale to children's mind, for those not paying attention. Yep. And I understood as a puppeteer, and I still do, I understood the power of puppetry. And so my bottom line was to teach a little bit of moral through comedy and laughter. There were sad stories I told, but I always tried to bring an uptick to it. And I stayed away from, everybody dies at the end. No. But to the point though, with that, that's why several medicine men told me that my art as a puppeteer is because I could temporarily confuse the audience into a different reality. How about that one? That's what a medicine man told me. He said, you confuse the reality so that it takes them out of their current place and allows their imaginations to go into a different world. Whoa, dude. And that was from a medicine man off the Pine Ridge Reservation. He was a descendant of Crazy Horse. He looked like Crazy Horse. I'm serious. Lakota Indian. Oh my God, what a wonderful man he was. I don't know if he's still alive. It's been many years ago, and he was in his 80s then. But anyway, um, yeah. So, but I had to make sure that as a person and as a spirit, that there was no ill intent with my puppetry. And laughter, I mean, how can you go wrong when a kid's sitting on the floor jumping up and down like this, peeing his pants, and having a good time? Ain't nothing like it. Just saying. Just Spitfire. I think we've given it a deceptive meaning about illusion. I absolutely agree with you, Spitfire. It is appropriate in the right ways. Thank you. You got it. Yeah, not nice to fool Mother Nature. Thank you very much. Uh, Max Vision. Hey there, everybody. I wish I don't get that. Snails eat like kings in my garden. Oh, Pamela, I got you. Yeah, worms in mine. Yeah. While we're alive, it is very real. Thank you, Milk Cow. Max, yep. Hi, everybody. Dominic says, Dave, I'm glad you touched on the illusion subject. Thank you. You're welcome. Everything is not an illusion. People's perception just may be. That's true in our perception of things. And there are some folks, for example, that can get in a hot tub with it at 110 degrees. It's too hot for me. But to them, perception wise, ooh, this is great. For me, I'm like, oh, no, let it cool down 5 degrees. I'm sorry. 110 is too hot for me. Nobody should get in a hot tub at 110 degrees. Just saying it's bad, unless you're only in it for 10 minutes. But Milk Cow says the big picture may not be so much. That doesn't make our 3D reality any less real. I agree with that. Max says puppetry of the penis is hilarious and weird. Yeah, there was that one, and there was this crazy guy, and I can't remember. I think it was from UK, and it was just two socks talking, and this guy was nuts. And I was like, oh my God, it's just two socks. Poorly done, but he was hilarious. Maverick says, which strangely is not here, basically means to convince someone to believe in your opinion over their own. That's very true, Maverick, in that, look, and I try to, you all wouldn't be hanging out with me if it were otherwise. I'm trying to point out there are so many levels of understanding to many of these things that some people are saying, "Oh no, Hawkeye, you're wrong. It's all an illusion." Well, okay, and they'll argue the point till they die, and it's like, oh, that's your reality, and that's okay. You want to believe that it's all an illusion. I understand it too, also, but from a spiritual point of view, when I move into the next realm, this life will seem like an illusion. I get it, but not the way these folks are taking it. So I understand. They don't like my point of view, but I can understand theirs. David, I liked what Alan Watts said. Life is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Yep. Maverick says, which, okay. Spitfire. Just Spitfire says, hello, Max. I was about to leave 10 minutes ago. I was going to leave 10 minutes ago. So you're not alone, Spitfire. Class starts in 15 minutes. Yep. Laughter. Lakota message for all humanity, YouTube. Yep. And Mother Nature. Aho. Yep. Okay, I gotta go as much as I hate to. And me too. I gotta go to the little boy's room and get something to drink. And I haven't had supper yet. So, to all of y'all, I love you much. Thank you for your participation. I really do mean it. And just understand that the word illusion and perception and all that is correct when it's used properly with the proper context. So I would just ask you before you go repeating a word, are you using it in the right context? Do you understand what you mean when you use it? Just asking. Because one of the things we all need to do, and as we become aware that maybe I've been using that word wrong, maybe you shouldn't use it as often. Maybe our manifestation of things will be different. If people keep thinking that this life is an illusion, are we just going to, if it was an illusion, I could walk through that freaking wall. That's kind of sort of where I feel about this. So, my friends, aho, night quantum, thank you all. Use your words wisely. Thank you, Milk Cow. Accounting services, Just Spitfire, Sun, Marie. Good to see you again on the south side of the world. Mother Nature, uh, Divine Living, Pamela. And if I've missed anybody, Max Vision, if you're still there, Maverick, Ian, Dominic, uh, and anybody else who's out there right now. And I do mean this, you all are superstars in my opinion, because we have good discussions. It's cheers, everybody. We are making a difference. We are making, having discussion is what it's all about. Our perception of things. So when you pass this along to somebody else, the whole awareness of the world increases. Keep up the good work, my friends and neighbors. And until next time, I pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the gifts, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relations will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the blessings of the universe. I continue to pray, Law of Three, that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive these blessings and pass them on to your neighbors and friends. Until next time, my lovely friends, be safe, be kind, be compassionate, keep it between the ditches, as we say down here in South Georgia. And until next time, I am your humble host, David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, TTFN for now. Bye, y'all.